The plans you refer to will soon be back in our hands.
Welcome back to the dark side, everyone on YouTube. Darth Vader is back with another video today, and I know I've said before that I would be uploading more Five Nights at Freddy's content as we get closer to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie release, but it's nice to step away from that for a little bit. That way I'm not running it dry before the movie and for my channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start reacting to scary animated stories. Dark Figure.
It was a cold, rainy afternoon in Valencia City, Philippines, back in 2011 when I was sleeping in my bed with a high fever due to catching the flu.
Oh dear.
My mom was sleeping next to me in bed because she was taking care of me and made sure I took my meds on time. As I was snuggling in my sheets, I slowly hear someone whispering in my ear from a distance. I opened my eyes with my heart beating so fast and I was trying to move my body, but to no avail. I could not. The whispers continued to echo from a distance, and I couldn't actually
God
recognize the
damn.
sound I was hearing, like it was all just a bunch of random words. Just then, the whispers came even closer to my ears, and I was panicking so bad, thinking, what is going on? Why can't I move? Why do I feel like there's someone standing at my feet? I got a very weird tingly sensation run down my spine when I finally felt like something was actually whispering with its mouth an inch closer to my ear.
What
I
else
then
would it be
remembered when I
whispering
read about
with?
sleep paralysis on the internet and how to break free from it by trying to move your toes, and I did it. I was praying and trying to move my toes at the same time, hoping that I could break free from this nightmare. Luckily, I got out of it gasping some air and immediately woke up my mom and told her everything that happened. She got all worried and reassured me that everything's going to be fine because she won't leave me. I felt relieved and went back to sleep. 1 month had passed and I was watching some comedy movies in my room, and it was around 11 p.m. when I suddenly felt the urge to drink some water. The outside of my room is a second living room, and I need to head downstairs to grab a glass of cold water because that's where the fridge is located.
Of
As
course.
I got out of the room, I didn't bother to turn the lights on because the dim lights were turned on already, and it was enough for me to see. As I was about to step out of the room, I noticed something in front of me sitting on the couch. It was all dark and only its eyes were gleaming despite the dim situation of the living room. The eyes were looking straight at me and I froze for what felt like an eternity. I finally managed to take a step back at my room and shut the door. I forgot to mention that both my mom and dad were with me in my room watching the movies as well. And they both stood up from their seats in shock because of the horror and emotion that I displayed on my face. I eventually moved on from that situation and forgot about it.
Okay.
Year 2016, when I graduated from college and went to Cebu City for my review and preparation for the upcoming board examination that year in November. I was living with a bunch of friends and classmates in a pretty decent house that we rented for the time being while we were having our review. It was all fun until one afternoon while I was sleeping. There was this familiar sensation that I felt that made my eyes to open widely. The same dark figure was standing right at the corner of the room. Only that time I could see it clearly, and it was trying to reach me with its long, pointy hands. Again, I couldn't make myself move. I closed my eyes and kept them shut for 5 minutes and prayed to God for that hellish creature to be gone. Thankfully, I got out of it again. I still get some occasional sleep paralysis at times when I sleep in the afternoon. I am still scared even up to this day, but I somehow got used to it. All I can say is, even if you're scared to face your demons, you just have to stay tough and keep praying. God is always in control.
You need to figure out why this is happening. You need to face your demons and figure out what you need to do to change this entire situation.
Hello, I'm a 17-year-old girl who is attending high school in Japan. Before I start, it's important to note that I'm a timid person, so I'm not good at anger and I'm not good at rejecting. Because of this, people often tell me that I'm nice. My friends know that I'm like this and often have to step in and help me. The story began earlier in the year, but we'll get to that. For now, let me tell you about a day that I will never forget. The day that showed me what happens when you're too nice. It was summer break. I will often go to a local pool with my friends during the summer, and this day was no different. It was supposed to rain all day, so I thought my friends wouldn't be interested in going and that our visit was canceled. However, I got a call from one of my friends. She asked me to go to the pool even though it was a rainy day. I said to her, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" She made the argument that the weather would make sure that the pool wasn't as crowded. Even better, if we went in the evening, there would probably be no one there, and we would have the entire pool to ourselves.
It's not always a good
And
thing.
decided to go to the swimming pool with her in the evening. We walked together to the pool in the rain. When we got there, it was just as she thought. No one was there. She and I swam and splashed in the pool. We were having so much fun playing in the water. At one point, as we floated on the surface of the water, we got to talking about relationships. As soon as this topic came up, I tried to change the subject. You see, before summer break, a boy from school had confessed to me that he liked me and asked me to be his girlfriend. He was pretty average looking, but I just didn't know him that well and wasn't interested in a relationship. Not knowing how to properly explain this to him without hurting his feelings, I instead decided to lie to him. I foolishly told him that I already had a boyfriend and left him standing there. Of course, she knew this and decided to tease me about what my fake boyfriend was doing while we were at the pool. I laughed a little and then decided to get revenge for making things awkward. I snuck up on her and dumped her into the water for a second.
You didn't.
She jokingly scolded me.
You didn't dump her into the water. You suplexed her ass.
And we laughed together about how silly the whole situation was. We went back to treading water and talking about random teenager stuff. That was until I felt someone was staring at me from somewhere behind me. I looked back, but there was no one there. My friend noticed my look of worry and asked me what was wrong. I brushed it off since I didn't see anyone, and I reassured her it was nothing. Maybe it was her reminding me of the guilt I felt lying to that guy from school. We went back to playing in the water after I reassured her things were fine. As we continued splashing around, I felt it again. Someone was watching me. I turned again to look. I saw nothing, but I had had it. I decided to make up an excuse as to why we should leave. She seemed a little unsure about what I said, but she didn't question it, and we got out of the pool. My friend and I went to the showers together. I love the feeling of warm water and the relaxing process of getting cleaned up in the shower, so I usually take longer than my friends. Because of this, my friend finished first and headed out of the showers and into the locker rooms to start getting dressed. As I was rinsing my hair, I heard footsteps from somewhere. At first, I thought it must be my friend, so I didn't care and continued to wash up. But the sound of footsteps got closer and closer until I heard them stop directly behind me. I was in the process of rinsing my face off under the water, so I turned quickly to see who was behind me. I can still, to this day, clearly picture what I saw when I turned around. There, standing just one step away from me, was the boy who confessed to me. I was so startled
What
and
the
scared that I
fuck?
froze on the spot and didn't even scream. I wondered if screaming would lead to him hurting me. Suddenly, he reached out and grabbed my arms. That was when I screamed and tried to pull away from him, tears running down my face. We struggled against each other for a bit. He was staring directly into my eyes with an eerie and wide-eyed expression.
What the
I was able to
fuck?
maneuver myself in a way that allowed me to kick him in the stomach, which caused him to fall to the floor with a thud. I hurriedly got out of the shower room,
Why the stomach and not the nuts?
grabbed a towel, wrapped it around myself, and ran to my friend. She had already finished getting dressed, and her phone was in her hand. As soon as she saw me, she asked me what happened to me, and I told her. She quickly grabbed me and pulled me into a nearby bathroom stall. We locked the door, and she called the police. When the police arrived, they searched the shower room. They found him in the same place I knocked him down. Apparently, when I knocked him down, he hit his head and was unconscious. They arrested him that day. The events of that day have scarred me for life. It's made me wary of going to the pool, but most of all, it's made me realize that sometimes lying to be nice can be deadly.
Oh, what the fuck? Well, holy hell. Wait, hang on. So, what I will say is, it sucks to be rejected, but you have to just take it and move on. You can't do diddly shit to change it.
I am a night person who likes to jog around my neighborhood at night. I did the same on this day around 13 years ago. I changed into my sweatshirt around 9 p.m. and went outside for a run. As I ran outside, I enjoyed taking the cool night air into my lungs. I suddenly heard footsteps from somewhere and turned toward where I thought the sound was coming from. I could see a man coming towards me, swinging his arms. He was Nicholas, one of my neighbors. He had one hand on his neck, and his white t-shirt was stained with blood. I was surprised and asked him what was going on, and he shouted, "My blood!" He then collapsed on the ground, bleeding from his neck. I slowly approached him with hesitancy and saw another man at the entrance of Nicholas's house. He was dancing behind the collapsed Nicholas. The man was wearing a weird costume, like a red cape. He looked at me, brightly smiled, and yelled, "You won't die, because I haven't drunk too much." Then he laughed and rushed off into the darkness. I supported Nicholas and panicked because I had no idea what was happening. He was half fainted and said, "That bastard sucked all my blood." He looked pale and weak. I called the police, and the strange man in the red cape had already ran away by the time the police arrived. The officers left to track him down. Nicholas was later transferred to the hospital, where they expected him to die from excessive bleeding. A few days later, his testimony to the police was released, and it was shocking. On the night of the incident, someone knocked on the door while he was alone at home. He opened the door, and a man said he was thirsty and asked for something to drink. When Nicholas tried to give him water, the man said, "There are no nutrients in water. The ones I need are in your body," and forcibly climbed onto Nicholas's body, pulling out an iron straw to suck blood from his neck. When the police heard Nicholas's testimony at first, they said it was an unbelievable claim. However, the police began tracking the culprits, and several pieces of evidence were found in his home. Not long after the tracking, the police caught the culprit, a crazy man who claimed to be a vampire. His straw was made of iron, and the tip was as sharp as a knife. He had assaulted people in the middle of the night, sneaking inside the alleyways, sucking their blood, and leaving. Then, he became bold enough to enter another person's house. He said that he thought Nicholas's blood would be very delicious as soon as he saw Nicholas's face, and he was right. He also told the police that he should choose his object carefully, since each human has a different taste in blood, and selecting the wrong person with unfavorable blood does not quench his thirst at all. He then reportedly smiled at the police officer and said, "Mr. Policeman, your blood must be salty and sour. Let me suck your blood a sip, and I'll tell you my secret." The police got angry with him, and the man proudly said that he had sucked the blood of more than 50 people. The man eventually ended up in prison, and Nicholas suffered severe trauma for some time. He lived in his house plastered with crosses and moved to another city altogether at the end. However, 10 years later, a rumor began that a vampire had again assaulted the village. As I thought of it, I wondered if the crazy man had just been released from prison. One day, while jogging at night, I heard something fluttering behind me, and I looked back. There was a man, and he had a cape on, flapping in the wind and running like crazy toward me. I
don't know how he's able to run that fucking low.
And he pulled out a very large, long, iron straw and tried to climb on top of me. I felt the fear of death, kicked him hard, and he groaned and fell to the ground. And he said to me as he pointed the sharp straw right at me, "I've always wondered what your blood tastes like." He stabbed a straw in my arm, and my blood gushed out. He then put his mouth on my arm to suck the blood. I punched him in his face, but he kept sucking my blood, even though he got hit. I instantly felt drained as the blood left from my body, and I was terrified. I kept punching him in the face until he fell backward in pain. I ran away as fast as I could, and he shouted at me from behind, "Your blood tastes like peanut butter. I'll come back to suck your blood again next time." I ran away from him and called the police. He was arrested and put in jail again. That seems to be the end of my horrific nightmare, but every night I am terrified that he will appear again one day, and I still have the scar from his straw on my arm.
Yada yada does it. You must learn the power of Haman. I'm just fucking you. The guy wants to be a vampire so bad? Shit. Um. The left road?
Hi, Wansee. I want to share my experience that happened way back in 2012. This is my true horror experience, and ever since that day, I believe in guardian angels. 3 a.m. It was my first time working in Manila, Philippines. I worked at Jollibee Fast Food, and my schedule was 2 p.m. to 12 midnight.
Jesus.
At that time, we had an overtime charity, so we needed to extend cleaning for 2 hours. When I got out of the store, it was almost 2:25 a.m. My aunt's house, where I'm staying, is nearby, so I didn't need a ride. My usual route is on the highway, which is on the left road.
Okay.
While I was walking, someone whispered in my ear. The voice said, "Don't go there." I looked back and there was no one walking behind me, but there were a few people on the sidewalks. I walked back and ended up using the right road. When I got home, I looked at the clock on the wall and it was exactly 3 a.m. I heard a gunshot, but I was so sleepy at the time, I didn't pay much attention to it. I brushed my teeth and then went to sleep. My cousin woke me up. I asked him what time it was and he said, "It's 4 a.m. He said someone died on the left highway. It was a security guard at a motorcycle store.
Oh, wow.
He was shot in the head, and according to my aunt, they robbed the truck with motorcycle supplies and killed the security guard.
Damn.
And all this happened at 3 a.m. That's when I remembered the whisper I heard. If I had taken that left route, maybe I would also be dead now, if I happened to witness the crime. I'm thankful for my guardian angel, but I'm also sad as well because of what happened to the security guard.
Damn. Holy hell. We'll look at one more video.
Hello, my name is Sam. The story I'm about to share with you is a true story that happened in my old neighborhood. I was in elementary school with my two sisters. Mary was 13 and the oldest. I was 11 and the middle child, and my little sister Emily was 8. One day at school, I witnessed a little girl being forced into a blue vehicle. She was crying, but the man forced her in was trying to shut her up. That day, we had an indoor recess, and it had something to do with a blue vehicle and a missing student. The teachers locked the school entrance and warned the class to look out for a blue car. Every morning we would catch the bus at 7:15, and I would always look out for an adventure. So I would always pay attention to everything that happened. One day we were waiting by the bus stop as usual when I spotted it. Across the street sat a man inside a blue car.
Why the fuck is he staring
He had
like
black
that?
hair and sunglasses. His windows were always open and we could see inside the car easily. It looked like he had pink seats and cute puppies with toys. It was strange, especially because he was only staring at us. We were the only people who were at the bus stop, so it wasn't like he was watching his kid or anything. I didn't say anything at first, but then I started seeing him regularly. I pointed him out to my older sister, Mary, joking that he was stalking us, and he probably wanted to kidnap someone. We all started laughing, but then, realizing the situation, we got scared. Eventually, the bus came, and we all sat in the back. As the bus was moving, I turned around to stare at the window, and to my horror, the blue car was following us. I screamed and informed everyone about the man that was following us. At that point, everyone was crowded at the back, trying to have a glimpse of the man. The bus driver told us to sit down. It was probably nothing, but she looked scared. Realizing he was spotted, the blue car turned at a corner and disappeared. We all calmed down, but 2 minutes later he showed up again, and we all noticed. After that incident, we stopped seeing the man, but we still experienced weird things. Like one time, my cousin and I were playing in the backyard. We had a gate at the back that opened to the alley and led out to the bus stop. At one point, one of my cousins opened the gate. We began playing tag in the alley when a small white puppy began running towards us. It was very similar to the puppies in the blue car. We fed it some chicken,
What's with the
but
mark
as
on
I
the
was
ear?
feeding it, it tried to bite me. We realized that this puppy was very aggressive and rough. We also noticed that the puppy had a blue mark painted on it. Before, we didn't pay it any mind, but the more I think about it, the more I realized it must have belonged to some sort of gang. My mom told us to stop playing in the alley and stay close. After that, the puppy disappeared. We forgot about the situation until now. Emily told me when the puppy disappeared, she heard a loud whistle and the dog began running to a man dressed in black and stood on the corner. Was the puppy the same puppy from the blue car? Was he using the puppy as bait to kidnap us? Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we ended up following the puppy towards the man.
You'd be dead. Plain and simple. It's a no-brainer there. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If so, leave a like on the video. If you're new around here, be sure to turn on the notification icon so you don't miss a single video that I upload. We are 3 days away from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Tomorrow I will be doing another VHS tape video. And on the day of the movie, I might do like a simple review video without spoilers, just to give my thoughts and let you guys know what to expect when it comes to the movie. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed, and remember, the Force will be with you always, and your destiny lies with me. Obi-Wan knew this to be true.